Hi, this is Dee at Aloha Astro, and today on August 30th, 2023, we're looking at a full moon in the mutable water sign of Pisces. It will be occurring at 9:35 p.m. this evening, Eastern Time. Let's take a look at the forecast. Full moon in Pisces, Wednesday, August 30th, highlights the use of memories and history as a navigation tool for future growth, seeking meaningful connection and commitment in relationships, and balancing the material and spiritual aspects of life. As the moon joins Saturn retrograde in Pisces, and together they oppose the Sun in Virgo, form a quincunx aspect with Mars in Libra, while Mars forms a trine aspect with Uranus in Taurus, and the Sun is trine to Jupiter in Taurus. Both Mars in Libra and Mercury retrograde in Virgo interact with Pluto retrograde in Capricorn, Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus, and Neptune retrograde in Pisces through a grand trine and kite aspect pattern that motivates you to improve and elevate your life or the world around you. Mercury trine to Chiron in the North Node in Aries indicates you may feel called to fix a long-standing problem or heal something once and for all. Neptune-ruled Pisces is associated with the 12th house of the dream state, meditation, other planes of existence, intuition, inspiration, retreat, seclusion, and healing, while Mercury-ruled Virgo is concerned with the 6th house matters of service, dharma, the daily job and chores of life, health, exercise, diet, nutrition. Pay attention to the needs of both your spiritual and physical body, and take the messages you are receiving through dreams, symbols, or synchronicities seriously. Venus retrograde in Leo, trine to Chiron in the North Node, and Mars opposing Neptune remind you to believe in yourself, follow your heart, love yourself, and prioritize your wellness before you undertake a crusade to rescue or romance anyone. P.S. Seek or offer psychic insights today. So let's take a look at what's going on in the sky. And as you can see, this is a very busy chart. We have some seesawing energy that's going on where we find planets lined up in a bunch of signs consecutively on one side of the chart, and then other planets lined up consecutively in opposing signs on the other side of the chart. So the oppositions are going to be the things that are creating the pressure and the trigger that's going to lead to the action or the decision and motivates you. And what's probably motivating you through those oppositions is discomfort or disillusion or unhappiness or just not wanting to be in the same place anymore. However, that doesn't mean a total abandonment or escaping from wherever you are at right now. It may require a readjustment, reevaluation, reworking of things, forgiveness, better communication. There are any number of potentials with what we have going on in a very busy sky at the moment. You can see that almost every planet is forming multiple aspects to other planets. So when we have a lot of exchange of energy going on, everything feels more intense. And we are at a full moon in a very spiritual, psychic, intuitive water sign that does feel deeply and really has, Pisces has no boundaries. It kind of interconnects with everything and everybody. It is actually a good thing that we've got the opposition going on with the moon and the sun right now, where the moon is joining Saturn, which does help to bring some of a reality check in and help to stabilize emotions or make us look at things from a more realistic perspective, even if we are keeping a very high spiritual ideal or a future vision. We are realizing that we may have to ground it in reality, modify it in some way, or maybe look back at the past historically and see how did this not work before? How can it work this time if we make adjustments? And that is seen through that opposition there to the sun in Virgo. Mercury retrograde in Virgo, oh, definitely pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. That's really the main thing with this retrograde. Of the crazy and strange things I've had happen in my own week under this Mercury retrograde, just about everything could have been prevented or altered in some way if I had been paying better attention. And I'm already prone to being a bit of a easily distracted person. But if you are easily distracted, you might find yourself more so or desiring to spend more time in the dream state. If you've been sleeping more, you can blame it on Neptune and Pisces. And if your dreams have been more active, more colorful, have more symbolism, more busyness and activity going on, it is probably due to this grand trine and kite, which is being led by Neptune and Pisces. The fact that it is retrograde may also indicate going back toward something that you dreamed of doing before, or maybe revisiting past relationship. There's always a chance under a Mercury retrograde that a past relationship may rekindle, or that you would reconnect with somebody from the past, even if it's not romantic. On top of that, we have Venus still retrograding in Leo, and that remains until September 4th when that comes out of retrograde. That is forming what's called a Cinderella aspect with Chiron, also retrograde. So there we've got some potential for romantic rekindling, or maybe going back to past creative plans or a desire to work independently. And if you put it aside or didn't have the right resources or ability or knowledge to be able to move forward, now you may actually be more successful if you do put your plans into motion. Jupiter conjunct Uranus does give the ability to magnetize more, and that is amplified and enhanced by that grand trine and kite and by Pluto in Capricorn. Again, we have a casting back or trying again energy with Pluto retrograde and Uranus retrograde. But Jupiter in Taurus, Taurus does rule the second house of money and is associated with wealth and abundance, as well as sensual pleasure and awareness of the material world. That is all taken to a higher level of greater desire, whether it is for success or whether it is for romance or whether it is directed toward making things better in your own life or the lives of others. Yes, any and all. There's just so much. It's really up to you as to which planets you're going to focus your energy upon and work with, and where you want to direct that energy. On the one hand, spending time in dreaming and meditation or wishful thinking can actually fuel up that grand trine and kite. But the practical side of discernment and determining what can actually work and then putting it into practice and making it a reality is where we find the Sun and Mercury in Virgo pulling us back down to earth and saying, okay, if you want to make something real, you have to go over this more carefully and you have to put better boundaries around it or some sort of form and structure. And that is one thing that Saturn can provide, is some form or structure. The picture that I chose today called out to me because we have a lot of earthiness going on right now, and we also have a lot of water. And water can be, well, it's flow, and it can definitely move us toward where we want to go. It can also do a lot of destructive things, or it can run amok and go everywhere if it is not contained within something, within a container or the banks of a river. That we want to bring some of that containment into the flow and the potential of Pisces energy right now. We want to give the element of water some sort of parameters and guidance in order to take us forward. But we're still coming from somewhere. And in the distance in this picture, you can see what looks like possibly a town, a village. So you can't really run away entirely from your past, or you can't move forward towards something new without integrating something that is behind you or foundationally in you. We are kind of in everywhere and all that is, and where you place your attention and focus is where you will see things develop. And you can't just bury your head in the sand and not look at the problems or the things that are bothering you, because you have to figure out what the solution is or what you would like to look at instead, what's going to be the replacement, or how can you renovate or change what you already have to work with. Those quincunx aspects going on definitely speak of relationship as well, and your responsibilities to yourself within relationship. If you don't pay attention to yourself and your needs and basically be the person that you would want to be in relationship, if you're out there looking outside of yourself, but you're not looking at yourself, then you're likely to be disappointed by what you see in the mirror. And the relationship might not grow and develop unless you are willing to look at yourself and improve upon yourself or take responsibility for your own self. So relationship is very much in focus at this full moon, but so is the individuality, the accounting for yourself, the tolerance and acceptance and forgiveness for others and for yourself, and then wanting to build upon what you already have rather than getting rid of everything and starting over fresh, because we have all these retrogrades. I'm sure I could think of a whole lot more to say because there's just so much going on within this. The sesquiquadrate here, sesquisquare between Venus and Neptune, forgiveness. If you're carrying grudges or your ego's in the way, get over it. And Mars also forming one with Jupiter, and that would pretty much say the same thing. Like if you're going to sit around and be unforgiving or petulant or moody and want somebody to figure out why you're upset with them, then you're missing out on time that could be pleasurable with them. If you were to communicate directly and figure out how to solve a problem together mutually, then at least give it a try, and then you'll know. Mercury retrograde opposing Neptune retrograde, it may be time to get rid of some things you're holding on to that are painful in your past but no longer serve you in the present. And forgiveness might be key, or simply deciding to no longer let it bother you, no longer let it be a part of your present reality that you are going to allow to influence your future. Okay, let's take a look at the Sabian symbol. And we round up to 8 degrees of Pisces, a girl blowing a bugle. Keynote, a call to participation in the service of the race as an evolutionary crisis approaches. This symbolic picture presents another aspect of the emotional relationship between the individual and the collectivity of human beings. It can also be related to the old feminist movement or the present women's liberation. Well, it seems we're going back to that again. For all the strides that women have made, I feel like they've also slipped backwards politically. In traditional symbolism, the woman refers more specifically to the biological and psychic aspect of human life. She is seen primarily as the mother and or the intuitive or psychic type of person. A new race of human beings may well be slowly unfolding some of its potential of consciousness and fulfillment. The individual who envisions this evolutionary development sounds the call. He or she is both seer, herald, and mutant. That's interesting. In that sense, such a human being is both an individual true to his original nature and a dedicated person, dedicated to the future he or she holds in latency, as does a seed in mutation. At this third stage of the 68th fivefold sequence, the two preceding phases blend in a new form of consecration of the individual to the whole. Tomorrow acts through today. It summons men to rebirth. In the chart of this full moon, there is, the day-to-day life, the mundane, and then there is the spiritual realm where things are going on a different level. And that full moon is emphasizing that. And Neptune, which rules Pisces, is bringing that out also. Everybody has the opportunity to choose how they want to think, what they want to believe, and which realm they want to be operating in. And I think at times we can balance both. Other times we have to give more attention to one over the other. If you have to carve out time where you say, okay, this is my time where I retreat and withdraw from the world and work on the spiritual, and now it's time to go off and do the practical and the material, that's fine too. But if you are able to bring some of that spiritual energy into the material, there would be a functioning at a higher level that you can't really understand until you're in it. You can practice and seek for it, but until you're there and integrate it, you are just in a process of the metamorphosis or transformation. One of the images I chose a few days ago was indeed a butterfly emerging from a chrysalis. So we're going through great potential for growth, not just as individuals right now, but society-wise and globally. Hopefully we learn things from everything that's going on right now, and that collectively as a society we make choices that are better for the future, and we put those things into place so that we are healing, caretaking, nurturing, and fostering and creating a healthy environment for future generations. Definitely do use your voice and communicate and contribute to the overall good wherever you see that the little bit that you can do. Share it, because if enough people are doing the little bit, it becomes a very big thing. It's like when you make sushi and you have all those little piles of things that go into your piece of seaweed and roll it up, and before you know it, that half a cup of rice and a half a cup of this, that, and the other thing becomes a huge amount of sushi. So maybe I should have chosen sushi for our picture for the day. But out of the smaller things can come the much bigger things. So pay attention to the details and then envision the bigger picture. And as always, do stay safe. Emotions are always elevated at the full moon. Sweet dreams. Pay attention to your dreams. Take care, and I'll see you in 2 weeks at the new moon in the middle of September, which will have a lot of shifting energy with it.